This week sees Arsenal travel to Luton Town for the first time in nearly 32 years. So what do we know about our midweek opponents? This is Over and Over and Over Again, and this is the Luton Town versus Arsenal match preview. Hello, my name is Richard, and in this video we are going to look ahead to this week's trip up the M1 to Bedfordshire for a first league meeting with Luton Town since Boxing Day 1991. Luton Town was formed in 1885 and became the first southern-based club to turn fully professional in 1891. They joined the Football League in 1897, but they quit in 1900 due to financial problems, something that would become a theme for the club in the years that followed. After a spell in the Southern League, Luton Town rejoined the Football League in 1920 and they were promoted to the top flight for the first time in 1955. They reached the FA Cup final in 1959, losing to Nottingham Forest, but they were relegated the following year. By 1966, the Hatters found themselves in Division 4, but by 1975 they had completed the climb back to the top flight. The club enjoyed its most successful period in the 1980s, winning the League Cup in 1988, but more of that later. They also won the Full Members' Cup in 1988 and reached another League Cup final in 1989, once again losing to Nottingham Forest at Wembley. But Luton Town were relegated in the final season before the start of the Premier League in 1992, and this started a major decline for the club. Luton went into administration on numerous occasions and subsequently spent 5 seasons in non-league football until winning a conference title in 2014. When they were promoted to the Premier League for the first time at the end of the 2022-2023 season, they became the first club who have dropped out of the Football League to return to the top flight. Luton first played at Dallow Lane, also known as the Excelsior Ground, but moved to Dunstable Road in 1897 in time for their election to the Football League. However, due to financial problems in 1905, the club were forced to sell the ground and they moved into Kenilworth Road just 500 yards away, where they have remained ever since. The club installed an artificial pitch in 1985 and the following year they banned away fans after a riot by visiting Millwall fans the previous season. The ban was lifted in 1990 and the artificial pitch replaced with grass in 1991. The ground now has a capacity of 11,500. Arsenal have played Luton Town 48 times in all competitions, winning 27, drawing 11 and losing 10. The first meeting came in October 1897, a 2-0 Arsenal win at Dunstable Road. Our biggest win was a 6-2 victory at the Manor Ground in December 1898, while our heaviest defeat was a 4-0 loss at Kenilworth Road in December 1957. We have not won on any of our last 10 visits to Luton since a 2-1 victory in January 1984. Since then, we have drawn 6 and lost 4. In fact, that win in 1984 is our only success at Kenilworth Road in 17 meetings since a 1-0 League Cup victory in 1970. So it's hardly been a happy hunting ground for us. There have been more players who have played for both Arsenal and Luton than you would imagine, including David Colt, Henry Lansbury, Steve Williams, Danny Clapton and Raphael Mead. Another, Ian Allington, scored 23 goals in 104 appearances for Arsenal from 1983 to 1987, before later playing over 40 times for Luton. John Hartson, who scored 17 goals for Arsenal in 71 appearances, began his career at Luton in 1992. But the most famous name to play for both clubs is Super Mac, Malcolm MacDonald. MacDonald scored 58 goals in 101 matches for the Hatters between 1969 and 1971 before a glorious career at Newcastle United. MacDonald joined Arsenal in 1976 as Terry Neal's first signing and scored 57 times in 108 matches before a knee injury brought to an end his career in 1979. Supermac won 14 caps for England, scoring 6 goals, 5 of which came in one match against Cyprus, a post-war record. Of course, we cannot mention Luton Town without going back to that 1988 League Cup final. I was at Wembley that day in blistering heat, expecting us to retain the title we'd won so gloriously the previous year. But it wasn't to be, and even now, 35 years later, I'm not sure how we managed to lose that match. Oh yes, Gus Caesar. Other memories of Luton include that 2-1 win at Kenilworth Road in January 1984 that we mentioned earlier. I was suffering with flu that day and spent much of the match sitting downstairs in a concourse with a bottle of water. But I did manage to get back up to the terrace just in time to see Kenny Sansom score a rare goal, and we won, so I guess it was worth it. A not so good memory was an FA Cup saga in 1986. We had drawn 0-0 at Highbury in the first match, and the replay ended in a thrilling 2-2 draw at Kenilworth Road. We lost a toss for a choice of venue for the third match, so the second replay we all went back to Kenilworth Road a few days later to see a dreadful 3-0 defeat. Of course, the mid-1980s was all about trying to beat that away fan ban, and I was lucky enough to get in a few times during that period, including in both title-winning seasons in 1988-89 and 1990-91. Both matches ended 1-1. I was also at the very last meeting at Kenilworth Road on Boxing Day 1991, a terrible game that finished in a 1-0 defeat. So yeah, not the best memories of Luton away. Luton Town currently sits 17th in the table with only 2 wins all season. They were beaten 3-1 at Brentford on Saturday, but they did enjoy their first home win in the Premier League last time out against Crystal Palace. And they also held Liverpool to a 1-1 draw at Kenilworth Road recently. Of course, we arrived sitting on top of the table with only 1 league defeat all season at Newcastle a month ago. We, of course, overcame Wolves on Saturday to record a 3rd straight league victory for the first time this season. We'll start as hot favourites coming into this match, but Luton have been very competitive this season, especially at home, so it will be another tough test. However, with the quality that we have, it will be a major shock if we don't leave Kenilworth Road with all 3 points. So I'm going for a final score of Luton Town 1, Arsenal 3. Let me know your prediction in the comments below. My name is Richard, and this has been the Luton Town versus Arsenal match preview. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. I'll be back on Tuesday evening with a double watch along for you. We'll be following this match, of course, plus the Lionesses' crucial Nations League encounter away to Scotland. So join me at 7:30 p.m. for all the action for what is going to be a very tense evening. Okay, that's all we've got time for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you Tuesday evening. Come on, you cunt.